My name's Kelly, and Connor is my spouse. We met in 2010, and Connor was always a cat person, but I was more of a dog person. That was until we found a 7-month-old tuxedo kitten. We brought her to our new home, and we named her Milu. Milu had a lot of spunk. She was so energetic, but she was very lovable. She liked to cuddle, she liked to play. She was just a force to be reckoned with. She could be very feisty at times as well.
I know.
After a while, we had decided that Milu could definitely use a playmate. While we weren't home, we really thought she could use a friend to keep her company. Little did I know that while I wasn't home, Connor would make that decision. I came home from work one night to find a cute little tabby kitten. He was very skittish at first and shy. He had bounced around from shelter to shelter and pet stores. He was born on the streets of Towson. We really loved him. He was so sweet, and he just wanted to be loved by everybody, especially Milu. He would watch her play with her toys from afar, and slowly but surely, Milu started to get used to him. Eventually, they became great friends. So life was great. I thought 2 cats was the perfect number of cats. But Connor soon went to a garage sale and ran into Eli. Eli had been abandoned by the neighbors of the garage sale about 5 years ago, and he was 6 years old. So Connor and I took pity on him, and we took him in. I really had a hard time connecting with Eli at first. He loved Connor, but he wasn't too keen on me in the beginning. But eventually he started to warm up to Ruger, and he started to warm up to other people in the neighborhood, and eventually to me. We even ended up taking in my sister's bunny at that point. She was very old, and she was at the end of her life. But she still managed to make friends with Ruger. Eventually, Connor found another kitten. It was just born and was abandoned by its mother. He was very small when we got him and very weak. So we had to nurse him back to health, and eventually we named him Asher. And he and Ruger became best friends. They were inseparable. Still to this day, Ruger and Asher are inseparable. Asher really seemed to bring a lot of life to the older cats. Even Milu would play with Asher. Asher brought a lot of joy to the house. He made the older cats feel younger, and everybody really loved him. They all played with him and had a great time. Asher also fell in love with my husband. So Connor now had 2 cats that adored him, Eli and Asher. Eventually, Eli was outside one day and he got into a fight with a fox. He unfortunately had to have almost his entire tail amputated. He had to rely on me a lot for his food and his medicine, so we got a very strong bond over that period of time. Eli and I really finally developed a good friendship. One day while Connor was at work, he found a small kitten in a car engine. He spent about an hour and a half trying to get her out of that engine. He knew if he left her there that she would die. She turned out to be very skeptical of us at first. She would hiss, she would growl, she was difficult to get near. But eventually she started to warm up to us, and through food, she was very food motivated. We really were able to develop a strong bond with her, especially me. She really was my little buddy. I named her Lyra. So Lyra ate and she grew. We used to call her Tiny, and she eventually wasn't so tiny anymore. She made friends with Ruger, like all of our cats do, and she was very happy. She was my little buddy, constantly at my side. Lyra really enjoyed spending time with the bunny. I'd often find her in her cage with her, and the bunny liked her. But when coronavirus hit, Bun Bun got sick. She had to have baths, and they were very hard for her to recover from. Eventually, she got so bad, I called the emergency vet that night. They told me due to coronavirus, they didn't have a vet on staff that could take care of bunnies. They said she had to wait till morning. But I knew she wasn't going to make it till the morning. And I stayed with her most of the night, but unfortunately, she passed away on a Sunday morning. And I still miss her to this day. She made me realize how important it was for me to be home with all the different animals we have. Then one day, we found Lyra's mother, Scarlett. She was also Asher's mother. She had been at my husband's work for many years. Her and Mama eventually looked almost identical, except in the face you can see some differences. So now we had one big happy family. We had the two children that got along very well and loved each other. And then their mother could watch them play and cuddle and love each other from afar. She wasn't too friendly in the beginning, but she has warmed up to us quite a bit. Our plan was to release Mama back at the dump after we got her fixed. We were told that she was too feral and she couldn't be tamed. We didn't believe that, so we decided to keep her around, and I'm glad that we did, because she turned out to be such a wonderful cat. Connor found a feral community with two cats that really needed a lot of help. They had severe dental issues, among other things. One of them we called Skinny, and the other we called Grumpy. So Grumpy, we ended up getting about 7 teeth pulled, and he was rehomed. And then Skinny, we had to have pretty much all of her teeth pulled, and she was 13 years old. We tried to rehome her, but she was destined to stay with us. Grumpy has a very good life now with many new friends, and we keep in touch. His name's Odin now. Skinny, her name is Iris now, and she's very happy. Connor and I were going to get married soon, and my best friend called me. Her sister had found a mother cat and 4 kittens in their shed. They were covered in fleas. We had to bathe them and pick the fleas off one by one. Our mother cat looked at us like we were nuts from their little screams. But eventually they were happy, they were warm, and we bottle fed them. They thrived, and they really were finally comfortable and safe for the first time in their lives. It was so fun to watch these little kittens grow up and to know that now they had a chance. And of course, I fell in love with one of them. I mean, who could resist that face? I named her Gizmo. And like all the other cats, we decided we were going to get her her shots, get her fixed, and give her a good life. So now we were up to 8. Gizmo, who I now call Gizzy, she stayed here with us while her 3 sisters went to my best friend's house. And the mother went to her sister's house. So it had a happy ending. They have taught me so much about life and so much about love. I miss Bun Bun every day. She was a great little bunny. She got along with all of our cats really well, seeing as she was bigger than most of them. But I'll never regret any choice that we've made. Some people might say we're crazy, that we have too many cats, but our house is peaceful, and there's no place that I'd rather be. And I know for my husband, there's no place that he'd rather be either. Starting out as never being a cat person, I really began to appreciate just the feminine side of myself that these cats had opened up. I loved them. I love all of them. And I know my husband does too. He would often be responsible for catching these cats, and we would set up the appointments together. We would help pay for the appointments together, and we'd nurse them back to health, get them fixed, get their shots, and then either release them back out into the world or find them homes. And it's just been the most rewarding thing. And I really appreciate my husband more than anything. He has proven to be the most kind and caring man I've ever met. Whether it's saving cats or snakes or possums, he never is too busy to help an animal in need, because a lot of times they can bring so much joy to your life that you would have never known possible if you hadn't just stopped for a moment in your busy life to look around and see that sometimes we all need a hand.